Hey, I'm Anthony Ball, and this is Working on It. Now, I want to talk a bit deeper into that title, right? I didn't pick it because it was a joke. It's more of a confession, right? Because I'm not figured out. I'm not the guy that has all the answers. I'm just a man working on it. It seemed the best title to suit this type of podcast that I wanted to produce. Trying to be more honest, more present, more more courageous. And today we're working on something that has haunted seems a strong word, but I think it suits quite well. So it's haunted me for many years and probably you as well and many men. And it's not money, it's not time, it's not even about talent. It's fear and how fear can really destroy our dreams. I want to get deeper into that. It's not the kind that makes your heart race when you almost miss that step on the stairs, or when you're cycling and you hit a bump and you wobble and you're worried if you're falling off. But the quiet kind, the kind that shows up in the middle of the night, the kind that says, maybe wait, what if I fail? People will talk. You've got a family to think about. These sorts of voices. So just imagine this and see if this resonates. This little story. You've had a dream for years, starting your own business, writing a book, launching a creative project. But every time you get close, something stops you. Not lack of time, not lack of ideas, but a quiet voice inside saying, what if I fail? What will people think? What if you can't pay the bills? That voice is not wisdom, it's fear in disguise. Might not even be a voice, but a feeling of anxiety, stress, overwhelm that you struggle to sit with, that prevents you from really stepping into what you want to step more into. And so slowly you back off. You stay in the job, you don't start the thing, you don't speak up, you don't risk being seen. And over time, that dream doesn't die, it goes quiet. And with it, part of you also goes quiet. A core part of you starts to be suppressed. So today, we're talking about fear, not to eliminate it, but to understand it and to become more friends with it, honor it, move through it, so you can finally live the life you were meant to live and you've been desiring to live. Those long, futuristic dreams that you see yourself in the future, but it's not actually, you're not taking the steps to make it happen. So this is fear versus freedom. So let me tell you a story, because I know this one too well, and I've seen it in so many men and myself. So there's a guy, and let's call him Mark. He's 39, works in operations for a logistics company, got a solid paycheck, good benefits, very stable. And on paper, he's doing everything right. Probably got a mortgage, wife, thinking about family, decent routine with gym and so on. But every Sunday night, there's a pit in his stomach. Not because he hates his job, though he kind of does, but because he knows he's not living his truth. It's just subtly playing out. Because Mark has a dream. He wants to start a brand, a sustainable outdoor gear brand, backpacks, tents, stuff built to last. He's been sketching designs for years. He's researched eco materials and even has a name for it, Trailmark. But he hasn't launched it. Why? Because every time he gets close, starts a website, talks to the manufacturer, fear shows up. What if no one buys it? What if I lose money? What will my dad say? He worked 40 years at the same plant. What if I fail and my wife leaves me? Those feelings of anxiety and overwhelm that he hasn't learned to manage or work through show up. So he stays put, and the dream gathers dust. Now, Mark isn't lazy. He's not unmotivated. He's just afraid. And his fear is dressed up as responsibility or the comfort zone or the safety. But here's the truth that I've learned the hard way. Comfort is not safety, and security is not fulfillment. In fact, the longer Mark stays in that job, the more he risks something far worse than financial loss. And that's a life unlived. And from here, it plays out in his life in other ways. Relationships start to follow the same direction. They become boring, unfulfilled. He becomes resentful, blaming life. And I get it, I really do, because I've been there with a business and with it, even with this podcast. When I first thought about starting working on it, I was terrified. Who am I to talk about growth? What if no one listens? What if people think I'm full of myself? And I almost didn't do it. I thought about doing a podcast, starting it about 6 years ago. And there was a lot of fear around being seen. And I put it off and just was like, no, I can do something else. But it was nagging me. And I just had to do it. And now I've stepped into it. I fucking love it. I feel a part of me is being expressed in a way that was being suppressed before. And it brings fulfillment for me. And something deeper kept pulling at me, like that quiet voice that said, Anthony, this matters. Say what you wish someone had told you. So I started scared, unsure, but moving forward, making progressive steps forward. And one thing that actually really helped me here, particularly, let's say, just focus on podcast right now, is that I set it as accountability within my men's groups, and I was held accountable by other men. And my accountability partner at the time was very experienced in this field, and that helped immensely make it happen for me. I'm very honored and grateful to have that space. And now this show, I feel, even though it's a relatively new show, but I feel it's shifted something. It's changed my life in that way. And I can, like I said at the start, I feel part of me that is being allowed space to express. I'm free, but I'm free from pretending, free from hiding, free from the lie that safety is the goal. Because it's not. Purpose is, truth is, you are. Now, this hits differently for men because we're taught a real man provides, a real man doesn't take reckless risks. And reckless risk is it's based on perception, right? Because if you've done something a few times and it's worked out, it's no longer a risk for you. But someone that's never done it, that's a risk, or they perceive it as a risk. And we have to understand that perception that we can create. A real man keeps it together. So when a man feels a pull towards something bold, starting a business, becoming a coach, leaving a stable job, fear doesn't just whisper, it shames. You're being selfish. You're not thinking about your family. You're not being a man. You're not experienced or worthy enough. We trade courage for comfort, for safety. And years later, we wonder, where did I go? What happened? I've seen this so many times in coaching and conversations in my own life. A man who wanted to teach but became an accountant. a man who loved music but chose law or become a doctor, a man who dreamed of travel but stayed in the same town his whole life. They weren't failures. This isn't shaming, but they were afraid. And fear, dressed as that responsibility and comfort, convinced them that safety was the highest value. But it's not. Living with integrity is. Being honest with yourself is. Showing up, even when you're scared, is. So, how do we move through fear? Not by fighting it, not by pretending it's not there, but by reframing it. So, here's 4 simple steps I've used and taught again and again. So, the first step, name the fear. Get very, very specific. Don't just say, I'm afraid. Ask, what am I afraid of? Is it failure, rejection, loss of status, financial instability, letting people down? Write it down, say it out loud, share it with close friends. Because when you name fear, you take its power away. You're looking into your shadows and you're bringing it to the light. You're showing it the light. And it's no longer holds the weight that it used to have. Try this journal prompt. The real reason I haven't started my dream is because I'm afraid that ... And finish that sentence. And just be brutally honest with yourself here. Honesty is the only way to really allow yourself to go through it. If you're lying to yourself, you're lying to the world, and it's pointless. You have to be brutally honest. You might say, I look stupid. My wife will lose respect for me. I'm not actually good enough. I won't be able to provide. And that's gold. So now, once you've wrote that down, now you're just avoiding the action. You're understanding why. Now, step 2, thank fear. Yes, thank it. It has been useful. It's there for a reason. It's ingrained in the human DNA for a reason. To say thank you for trying to protect me. I see you. I honor you. You've kept me safe for years. But today I need to take a risk. I need to grow. And I'm going to move forward with you, not against you. Fear isn't evil. It's loyal. It just needs to know, I've got this. Talk to that part that is scared. Comfort it. Step 3, act with fear. Not wait for it to leave. A myth is I'll start when I'm not afraid anymore. That is a myth. And spoiler, that day will never come. What will happen is that you'll take that risk, you'll be afraid, and then you'll do it a few times, and then that feeling will slowly start to fade away because you're training your nervous system that this is actually okay. I can do this. And you're just retraining that response. And then you'll try something else new. That feeling will come up again. And you do the same process. You work through it. It's courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is action in the presence of fear. So don't wait. Take the smallest possible step. Want to start a business? Write down your idea. Talk to one person about it. Arrange a call with a mentor. Buy the domain name. If you want to write a book, write 1 paragraph. Open a blank document and save it. Now, these aren't wins in traditional sense, but they are acts of rebellion against the fear and the feeling. And again, you're slowly retraining that pathway to know that it's okay. And each one of these steps, these actions, builds momentum. And it's a very powerful step forward. Step 4, redefining success. Most people define success as no failure, no judgment, everything works. But that's a prison. It's this idea of perfectionism, and it's a trap. So try this instead. Success equals showing up. Success equals trying. Success equals learning. Success equals failure. You have to fail, and failure is a good thing. You learn from that failure, or what you perceive as failure anyway. If you launch something and it fails, you won because you did it. You put the actionable steps to try. You faced the fear, you risked, you grew. And that's the real win. I want to share a story. A listener wrote in recently. He's 45, worked in corporate finance for 20 years, hated it, wanted to get out for a while, or at least dreamt of getting out for a while. But last year, he started a woodworking business, making custom furniture. The first year, he barely broke even, and he got one bad review. His wife was stressed about money. But here's what he said. For the first time in my life, I wake up excited. I feel like I'm finally being honest with myself. Even if it fails, I know I tried. That, my friends, is freedom. Not the absence of fear, not financial success, but integrity. He chose truth over comfort, and that changed everything. So here's my challenge for you this week. I call it the 5% leap. Just a 5% move towards your dream. Something small, something that scares you just a little. Maybe it's telling someone, I want to start a business. Writing the first page of your book. Starting up a simple website. Saying no to something that drains you so you can say yes to what matters. Do one thing that makes your heart beat that little bit faster because it means something. And when fear shows up, which it will, thank it. Then take the step anyway. So here's my kind of closing thoughts around fear. Fear will always be with you. And it should be. It means you care. But don't let it decide your life. The world doesn't need more safe choices. It needs your voice, your gift, your fire. So ask yourself, what dream have I been postponing? What small steps can I take? Not when I'm fearless, but because it matters. Because comfort is not safety. And security is not fulfillment. Freedom is, truth is, and you are. This has been Working on It, Real Talk for Modern Men. Send me a message on Instagram. I'd love to hear your stories around fear and potentially where you're still stuck with the fear, or stories that you work through the fear. So send me a message on Instagram at workingonit.men's podcast. I read every message that comes through, and I love to hear these sorts of conversations and connections. You can send me email at info@letsgetlostbarley.com. I'm Anthony Ball. Until next time, keep working on it.